Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be reacting to episodes 12 and 13 of Mawaru Penguindrum, and we're very excited to be back, albeit rotated 90 degrees. Yeah, that's kind of the big reveal here, I guess. I moved my room around, I cleaned, did a bit of spring cleaning. It's been a long time coming, if I'm honest. And yeah, I thought I'd spin the room around. Now this both comes with advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to say overall this is a bit of a cleaner look. Obviously I have this wall here, which is a little bit less jumbled than my background before, I guess I would say. That stuff's still over there, obviously, you just can't really see it. And again, that's fine by me, it's a bit of a mess over there anyway. What I have to do now is keep this area of the room clean, which I guess I can. Yeah, you're gonna see my bedside table, you're gonna see my bed, a whole lot more of my bed. I sleep over there, it's pretty scary stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna need to keep that clean. The only other part is it's a little bit, again, it's fucking boring over there, so maybe I get some posters or something. I don't know, you guys let me know. It's clean, it's cleaner. I'll give you that one. And again, the angle, I'm not quite sure I'm got it correct yet, but it should be pretty similar to what I had. I guess I'll find out a little bit later on. Maybe you're seeing a little bit more of my torso. Anyway, you guys don't really care about that. What you care about instead is the YouTube comments and me discussing episodes 10 and 11 from last week. Lazy Joe coming in here with the clarifications. Again, last week I was a little bit confused about timeline stuff and the timing of things in general, and then I thought about it for but a moment, and I thought, oh, okay, I was making some assumptions somewhere that I probably shouldn't have, right? So I picked up one of those assumptions last week, that was that, oh, Tabuki must be a different age from Momoko, right? That's the only way that the timeline makes sense there. No, instead I was making a different assumption for the both of them. I thought that Momoko must have been the same age as Ringo is now, right? I could not fathom for some reason, or I guess I just made an assumption, that if Tabuki thought that Momoko was the one, then they must be like teenagers. But that's not exactly correct, and now upon thinking about it, yeah, that's a pretty childish concept to think you've found the one just because they showed you some stuff. I don't know what the implications are there. I think it's going to get a bit weird. But let me just go through here so we're all on the same page, I guess. Again, so shows in 2011, 16 refers to that many years ago. I got that part because of the 95 connection to the train stuff. Fair enough. If Momoko died on this day, then that's the same day that these three were born. Fair enough. Episode dated 3, the flashback. I should note this as well. We've got dates for the flashbacks. So again, that's where Tabuki's over and they're having curry in 2006 because it's the anniversary of Momoko's death. Fair enough, fair enough. And Ringo is 11 years old at that time. Ringo's mum says Tabuki's about to graduate high school, therefore he would have to be 18. That was the assumption I made. Since he was a friend of Momoko before she died, he would have had to be around 8 at that time, so we can speculate Momoko is a similar age. Yeah, fair enough. So again, 2006 to, 1995, what's that, 11 years off 18, 7 or 8? Makes sense to me. Okay, we got there eventually. Again, I'm not sure any of this is particularly important. Again, way more of that last scene there was not meant to confuse me, but instead invite speculation around whatever the hell the involvement is of the Takakuras in the train stuff, right? I think that's the implication, right? Our family or our birth is responsible for the death of your sister, something to that effect. Again, this has been something that the Takakura side has been aware of in their kind of goings-on with Ringo, or at least after kind of Shoma became aware of the whole Momoko situation. And then he's like, oh, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Oh shit, I can see how we're connected now. So yeah, we're just about to go into all that stuff with Himari and Ringo and the brothers on the train, so yeah, we're just about to figure it all out. We don't need to dive in too much further. I say the brothers, only Shoma's there, because Kanba's doing the Natsume side of the story, which is still insane, by the way. And again, there's some implications there that it goes even further, that she's somewhat aware of the thing that happened 16 years ago, which is causing some of the stuff that's going on here. It's confusing, but we're getting there. I should shout out my patrons, of course. That'll be the best way to continue the video. Of course, Patreon, if you want to be 1 week early, you can access that at your leisure. There will also be a poll later this week if you guys are wanting to vote and have double votes, then you guys should be patrons. So look forward to that. Should happen on the weekend, so a full week from now, pretty much. Either way, many people have become patrons, such as Mickey Babbers, Trails Plus Plus, / Banana Ramahama Damasama, Bobbin, Choba Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Domobot, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Flirt Nightingale, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Ika, Ice, Iria, Yako Yavanen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Mistake L. Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Parnick, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashinko, Ronlad BNK, St. Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Fueco, Without a Net, Yuan Kai Shu, Yuki Ali, Zach, Akomancer, Binshi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, Ichu, Koichi Kaito, Matthew Bratcher, Need, and Ron Tiki. Thank you to everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Again, I've kind of set us up already. We're on the train. We're about to explain some stuff. The Himari library stuff aside, the Natsume stuff aside, let's try and focus in on whatever the hell happened with the whole train thing. Again, here very much invoking the 1995 Tokyo sarin attacks that happened on the subway. So, sure, looking forward to it, I guess, which is a weird thing to say. Yeah, let's dive in here to episode 12 of Mawaru Penguindrum. Radio, episode 12 of Mawaru Penguindrum up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 44 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. If not, there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below, and I think I'm using the Judas set. No, DB. I'm using the DB file set. I keep forgetting for some reason. I don't know. Either way, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Are we back in the doctor's office? Kamba? Yeah. Like the first episode, right? What's the point if we don't have choice? Couple black cats. Interesting. Sanetoshi. What the fuck is happening? Okay. What are you talking about? Bullet Apple. Okay, what the fuck? Sanetoshi is real in 2025? Antarctica expedition funded by Penguin. Pengu Corp. Where Kenzan is there, but I need to look at that group photo to see who else is there. That's my general take at the moment, I guess. How about the bear mechs? Where do they come into it? I don't know. I'm all off. I'm all freaked out. I'm recording. And I look kind of white. But that's just normal. Why does she turn into fire there, you reckon? So you know who's going to be an interesting one? Yuri, right? Because I can see how everybody else is only one step away from the conflict, but now the only relevance Yuri has to the rest of the story is that she's related to Tabuki in the aftermath of Momoko. So, is she more involved somehow, I guess is the answer there. Little loud. Are they on the train right now? Yeah, those are the cabbage things. What is he getting out of the cupboard there? Odd. Is he getting trolled because he thought that Himari made them, but she didn't? Oh. Well, that's no good. That doesn't sound like Sanatoshi. Okay. That's bad. We don't like that. But also, again, we may feel that Himari's death is inevitable, potentially. Explain. Give me something. Yeah. Oh, okay. Again, that was broadly what I was thinking, but sure. Okay. This was their survival strategy. Whoa, what? Okay, so this is the 20th of March. Okay. We're at Amazon HQ. Now, those conveyor belts reminded me of the library. That kind of scene at the very end. Ooh, it's kind of a fucked up day in Tokyo. Really cool looking background. Yeah. Yeah. This is cool as fuck. Let's initiate the survival tactic. That's different. That's not the same. Alright, I think the penguin guys are gonna do a terrorism. Oh, not even just the penguin guys. Also dad. Two dads? What the fuck? Okay, I think maybe that was just a visual. That or dad has a twin. You never know with this show. Evil twin. Ooh, okay, that's a fun Tabuki detail too. Alarm never went off. Yeah. I don't want to go to tickling hell. Don't even get me started on tickling. Another great effect. Love the sound here. Bakuhatsu. Love this episode visually. Damn, this shit's kind of crazy. I thought it was sarin. I didn't think it was explosions. Am I stupid? Maybe I should research now that it's a little bit more tangible. Okay, Momka's funeral. I refuse to believe she's dead. That generally goes well. Oh, look over there. Who are those two on the other side? Yeah. Indeed. Also, Diary was already there, which is, I think, was the point of what I was supposed to get from that. What the fuck is that? Take me to the child broiler, please. Yeah, kind of awkward, huh? I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. I liked it. Have you accepted fate? What are you gonna do? Frio? Dark bunnies? Again, this is the Himari dying part. You didn't get the Penguindrum in time. Okay. I think the Penguindrum is the Penguindrum. You fucking what? Nah, don't take her to a hospital. They'll fucking bury her and stuff. We don't want that. Just like keep her in a room. She'll be fine. Bullet apple, finally. Why was he in the doctor's room before? Who the fuck are the Oompa Loompas? What is happening? Okay. I didn't even read that. I'm a little bit lost, and that's okay. Get your ass over here now. Okay. Kamba flashback. Uh, I see. Cabbage is nice and cheap. I'll give you that. What? Okay, so that's like what she was talking about last episode, where she makes this, it's kind of like the two making up. Also, a weird double entendre with the cabbage before. Yeah, which is being continued with the penguins down there. There you go, she's making it obvious for everybody. What? I don't know. I'll eat it, I don't care. Oh well, Himari's fucking dead again. Hits less hard than the first time. Who the hell was Mary? Jesus, Joseph, and? Okay. Fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went. Oh. Okay. Tenchi, you say? What? Okay. Child broiler? This is insane. What's the golden tree? Or the apple tree? Okay. And it had all disappeared, you say? What? Yeah. What are those voices? What? I think I get it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Some kind of original sin. There was a small resonation within the hat. Okay, it's not quite all is well, but at least you got into here. What? Our deal? Payment? What? Goodbye. I'm gonna go back to the child broiler. Very in character. Okay. The Scorpion Soul. Alright, we're all getting naked. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. We're going through the subtext here a little bit. Oh, that's like what they did in the first episode. Divine intervention is coming. You've committed taboo. The taboo is also incest, if you think about it. What's the punishment for Mary? Oh, slowing down. Okay, it's weird because the metaphor is working on two levels. Where Himari is the same thing twice. Or two different things at the same time. I'll explain. It's smart, though. And again, we're ascribing either brother to parents in a weird way, which I like. No, I mean, she's still fucking dead. We didn't do anything. No, the penguin! Who the hell are you? God. On the red line, you reckon? Hello. Does this guy, like, run the hospital, or...? Ah! Okay, weirdo. That one obviously needs a rewatch. A lot of things I want to say about it. Okay. We need to figure out who is who in the story that we're telling about Mary Had a Little Lamb. Who is the what? Who is the tree? Why did the tree wither? And if the tree's withering, then apparently Mary must make a decision. And upon Mary making a decision, the goddess, who is also kind of like Sanatoshi, said, hey, that kid's cursed now, they're gonna fucking die. So what's the tree? Because the metaphor is then playing out in real time again in the current day. So it's implied that happened with the parents and Himari and the three little lambs back in the day, but it's also happening again now. Whereby instead of Mary being Kenzan, Mary is now Kanba. Am I making any sense? Maybe. Again, I'll explain my position and you'll see, but it's working on two levels in a way that I think is really cool, but also very confusing. It seems that Kenzan and Sanatoshi made some kind of fucking deal or something back in the day. Something about the ash or the tree or the goddess or the something. and then taboo committed, and then... Sure. Yeah, she's fucking dead as hell. Sucks. Yeah, and again, based on their character dynamics up to this point, it seems like Kamba is about to make another deal with the devil, in a weird way, or deal with God, let's say. And Sanetoshi is going to get something out of that, in a weird way. So again, this seems like Sanetoshi seems like some kind of character that operates on another level, hence being given deity status in some of the stories referencing them. To the point where he's just kind of messing with mortals. Again, that's so much of what the show's about with fate and who's in control of fate and all that kind of side of it. So clearly he's made his little deal with Himari as well, something like Bride of Fate and whatever. And her book about saving Tokyo and stuff. And then there's also Kamba and also Kenzan. I think he's made multiple deals with multiple people across multiple times. Maybe even something Ringo? Why does Ringo have the book? Who met with Sanetoshi and got the book then? You know? Okay, so it's a little bit of pontification in the middle of the episodes. I'll get the next one up now, but I do have my work cut out for me, absolutely. Radio episode 13 up there ready to go. 23 minutes and 41 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. DB file set, picture-in-picture, all the normal stuff. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. So I think a lot of this is going to be a matter of finding out what Sanetoshi even wants. Now this is Shauma's side of that same kind of fate monologue. Kami-sama's in the room right now, I feel. Okay. Again, just to clarify, it seems like Takakura dad, at some point, had 3 kids. 3 kids awesome. Love 3 kids. They're fucking sick. Then tree, whatever tree is, starts to wither. And then he's like, oh, fuck, that sucks. And even though he's advised against it and it's a taboo, he takes some of the goddess's flames or ash or something and puts it near the tree, and the tree is reborn. In kind of turn, the god then says, okay, here's your punishment for the taboo. Bang. Himari dead. Or going to die. And again, that then attaches into both of the brothers, their attachment to the sister, and their fates being decided by higher powers than them, conflating both God and Father in the same thing. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. There's another layer to that where I'm thinking Kamba reflects his father, Shauma reflects his mother. So there's like the same thing playing out even again, but in a different way. Point being, I don't think Shauma would be the kind to make the deal that I think Kamba's about to make, which is a bad deal. Again, he continually wants to trade his life for Himari's. We'll see. The end of the world? Okay, I can't read, but sure. It's a cool code. Oh, Bullet Apple, finally. Okay, it's all coming together, baby. Don't drink the goo. But it looks so alluring. What are you trying to imply? Well, yeah. Utena reference? Accepting fate? Accepting divine punishment, too. Nichijou? The family precepts? Himari don't care. Well, I don't think you're ever going to taste it again. Yeah, but who the hell are you? Look at his eyes, that was funny. Men in Black? Who are these evil, evil people? Okay. The police are catching their parents or something? I thought the parents were dead, though. They never came back. Again, they're dead, right? I thought they were dead. Penguin is transparent. Oh, he's sick. What is the price? How do you know that? What, your life? Negative heartbeats. Scorpion heart. Yay! This is fucking weird as hell. Alright, fair enough. That's exactly what I thought would have happened. Kakakura family's crime and punishment. Here we go. Juice. Finally. You are. Thoughts, Himari, or you're just sleepy? So, okay, that clearly connects to the Himari thing, right? With Triple H. Answer the damn phone. Panasonic. Turn his TV off. Oh, that's our fucking house. Kind of is, metaphorically. Our parents are terrorists? How's Himari sleeping through this? Evil, evil people. But how did the penguins come in any of it? Why was he a terrorist? Okay, I don't understand. The Princess of Fate. Alright, Himari's back. Kinda. Nah, but out of their own personal gain. Evil. Evil, evil person. Oh, we going back to the Library of Hell. Fair enough. I can never do those sliding block puzzles. I'm no good at them. Also, the cops are here to get me for watching Pig. Get that man, he's watching Penguindrum. I don't know, you tell me. I'm trapped here, so sure, why not? Ooh, that's specific. Momoka? That's nice, I guess. She was also 8? Usojanai. You're still chasing her down, though. Well, you could tell me. It'd make my job easier. I'm chilling. So you don't know? Me? What do you mean, you too? Alright, we're breaking the fourth wall here a little bit, I think. Sure. Or he's talking to the hat. Alright, you're confusing the fuck out of me. Yeah, what a nice guy. Kamba gave up his life. Thoughts, Ringo? This tangentially involves you. What? Sure. Oh, look at those two. What an odd thing to say. Great response. Natsume, you're just an odd person. So where do you come into any of this? Where does my mate Mario come into any of this? What the fuck? Oh, okay, gotcha. Could you tell me? So you knew? That's kind of crazy. 3 cats. He does. We saw that last episode. What is the ring? Don't understand. Okay. This is a fun way for Ringo to process it as well. Fair enough. I know. Mm-hmm. I guess so. Yeah. It kind of changes everything. Well, Antarctica or something? Interesting perspective from Tabuki. I don't know. Why terrorism? For what purpose? Asobi? And then you get to replay your little line. Rome? She seems less sure this time. I'm looking for a reason why they would do that as well. Something about research? He's swinging. Oh, this is it. And we've had this song already. I believe it was in Frozen World. Episode 9? Sounds right. Well, if there's one thing you can say for Kamba is he doesn't accept the reality that he's been given. I just have so many fucking questions. The answers only led to more questions in these 2 episodes, I would say. I guess the biggest one, and I've already said it, is why. Why did the Takakura parents do what they did? Also, very clearly, Sanatoshi is like a... He's not a benevolent figure. He's doing this for an ulterior motive. Whatever that may be. Cope. Sure. Whatever you say, little bro. Sure. It seems like that fruity man wants Kanba's heart, which is fair enough. Yeah. What does Natsume have to do with any of this? Where does she come into the equation? She seems to know information. What the fuck? Alright, we'll come back. We'll analyze those two. It's going to be a lot of me just saying, maybe this? Maybe this. Maybe this. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be particularly entertaining, but that's what I'm going to do. And we're back. Penguindrum episodes 13 and 12. I don't know why I did those in the wrong order, but I did. Yeah, I watched them. What did I think? The show is amazing still. If I was to be slightly critical, I'm ready to know more things in more detail. I'm ready to have some clarity on a few more things than I already do. They're stringing me along, and I'm interested, obviously, but like, I'd just like to have an idea, just some kind of idea of what's happening. Listen, it's not that I don't have any ideas, it's that it's not easy, and I like it when it's easy sometimes. So maybe again, that's just a me problem, and I need to get my thinking cap on and get going here. Specifically, this episode confirmed a couple of things for me. One being the parents and their connection to the subway attacks. Again, it's less clear if that's literally the subway attacks that occurred on the 20th of March in Tokyo in real life, or it's a different kind of attack. Again, my understanding of sarin is it's a chemical weapon, so why would there be smoke in the air? Doesn't make much sense to me. Unless, again, we're instead of using chemical weapons here, instead we're using bombs on different train lines. Again, gets the same point across, I think. And again, this actual confirmation of this being a legitimate thing we're referencing, like, a lot, means that I can go and research that incident in a little bit more detail, which I have. To my knowledge, nothing specifically there that the comments hadn't already alerted me to. A little bit more investigation into that cult I just did as well. Again, seems like a lot of the beliefs there are your general doomsday cult type affair, that we're saving people by killing them from an inevitable apocalypse. We're actually doing a good thing for them when we kill them with the chemical weapon. It's a good thing, and everybody else doesn't see it. And then I looked into the main guy of that cult in real life, his motivations, and he's all like, oh, Jews and Freemasons and stuff. And I'm like, okay, little bro. So, again, I think we kind of see where that guy's coming from. He's just insane. He's an insane man. But again, if you wanted to be that guy, you could tie the doomsday stuff that he's talking about into fate and controlling people's fate. And what's the point in any of this if inevitably it's going to end with all of us dead? You know, he's kind of taking a pseudo-nihilist view on it all, you could say, as well. The other thing that I think the show confirms here pretty aptly is that Sanetoshi is real. I was thinking that potentially it was like a figment, a concept more than an actual human, but no, that guy exists. He's existed for a while. He seems to not age, because he was the same guy when I think we were implying that was Momika in episode 13. He's got two little freak bunny servants, which is odd, and he seems broadly promiscuous with most of the characters in the show. So, I don't know. Utena vibes, a little bit. Now, pretty obviously, if we're putting our timing together as well, I mentioned this in the episode, but the reveal about the parents now explains episode 9, right? A thing occurred, to which point I had to leave school, and nobody really liked me anymore, and I was kind of separated from everybody else, if that makes any sense, right? I was estranged from all my classmates and the plans that we had. Yeah, it turns out your parents were terrorists, and they got arrested. And then probably Japan still kills people, right? I think they have the death penalty. So, I don't know. The parents are probably dead in that respect, I would say. Again, we never really got that explained. I thought that the parents were dead. Maybe they're still in prison. It's unclear. I don't know. They're one and the same. They're not in the show anymore. And again, that would result in Himari being ostracized, pretty obviously. By that same token, shoutouts to Tabuki for remaining professional and still teaching the children of, like... his friends' murderers. You know, does that make any sense? Like, I would say whoa, fuck that. I don't know about that. That's a little bit all too close to home for me. But again, the kids aren't at fault either. I don't know. It'd feel weird for me, I think. Again, considering the importance of Momika to Tabuki as well. So by the end of this thing, we have Kamba obviously taking that proverbial deal with the devil. We'll see what comes of that. Apparently there will be a steep price to pay for Himari to continue to be alive, at least in the short term. Shauma seemed to accept it, much like he had accepted it in the past as well. Again, one to accept fate, where Kamba broadly wanted to fight back against it. Himari, we don't know, is she even cognizant of any of this happening? Did she visit the library at the same point where she almost died again? Does that make any sense? Maybe. Ringo seems to be moving on a little bit from all of this and accepting it in her own weird way. I wonder how much more involvement she'll have in the show now that most of the juice has been revealed to her, I think. The only thing that I could think is maybe her parents are a little bit more involved than we think, but can't see really why. And Natsume, fucking who even knows? Who even knows what's going on with Natsume? Seems interested in Kamba, seems aware of his secret. Blah, 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 blah. Mario. Profit? I don't know. Fucking sue me. The show's confusing. Yeah, we'll dive back through here. Obviously, we're willing and able to change our opinions on things as well. Now, this first scene, I remember, was really, really confusing. We're opening in the doctor's office. Kamba and Shauma have been here many a time, specifically Shauma with his penguin and the kind of look at this globe structure here, this kind of star globe map thing. Again, we've talked about this already in the past. If we're talking about the stars and the Earth's rotation and fate in all of that as well, then that just makes a whole lot of sense. Having this kind of structure here in the same room where Sanetoshi will soon appear is apt as well. Also, there's kind of this motif across these kind of 2 episodes, actually, of replaying these monologues from the various characters. First we play Kamba's, then Shauma's, then Ringo's. And yeah, we're trying to re-examine those words with the context that we have now. So we have that same old doctor guy, and again, as I said, this kind of monologue playing from Kamba. Again, rejecting the idea of fate. If everything's set in stone by fate, then why even be alive? Again, this broadly motivates his actions through the 2 episodes, him offering his life in a fight against fate, so to say, and the kind of whims of the people above him and these deified figures and whatnot. Now, this here is pretty clearly a skip ahead because we have Himari and we have her fucking heart rate or whatever up here and it's hitting 0, and we also have our 2 little bunny rabbit freaks here with the red eyes. Almost like the black cats that get referenced a little bit later as well. I thought that they were cats in the moment, but they're most certainly not. Again, when Sanetoshi appears in the scene, the heart rate goes back up, and yeah, that kind of, again, that kind of preview of what these 2 episodes will really be about. Sanetoshi revealing himself at a certain point in time and saying, hey, I can revive person for profit. For something in return, a steep price, as we say. Again, further conflating the 2 when Sanetoshi appears. We also see these appear on our little star map as well. I am the stars in the sky. I am Alpha and Omega. He is godlike, Sanetoshi. This doctor dude is here the entire time too, which is weird. I don't know if you're like... So this is why I'm like, is he real? Is he real? Does the doctor know that there's another person in here right now, or is he just kind of chill with it? So this is something I wish was translated. It seems like we have some kind of Antarctic exposition. Sanetoshi is the one to place this picture frame down on the doctor's desk. As again, we have Kamba's monologue explaining his position on fate, Kamba who's been largely associated with his father. Again, remember the kind of saving Himari typhoon mirror scene and all that kind of stuff. I neglected to mention as well in the moment, very clearly both the parents get hit by mirrors. So dad got hit by a mirror during that scene and mum got hit by a mirror, again protecting Himari. So if we think about Himari being the connection there the entire time and then connect that to this kind of almost fighting against fate type idea when it comes to Himari and her even being alive, makes sense, kinda, I think. I don't know, it's almost like something is out to get Himari. We have to protect her at all costs. So I was looking through that picture to see if I recognized anybody else, but pretty clearly the only one we recognize here is Kenzan. And yeah, very clearly like conflating this monologue here about ever since that day we had no future. The only thing we knew was that we would never amount to anything. That same kind of Kamba sentiment being now applied to the same decision that the father makes. Which again, I think father is Mary in the Little Lamb type thing, right? I think that's what's going on. So now a couple of things. Okay, what is the tree then? That's what we're going to try to figure out. What is the tree? What is the thing that he hopes can be revived so very much to the point where then he's willing to trade the life of one of his kids for it? Now, again, tree invokes family, especially apple tree. So I was thinking maybe his wife? Is the wife the tree? Potentially. Again, we're going to rewatch it here and we're going to figure it out, I guess. But his mum was threatened, or his wife was threatened with something, and then he's like, oh, I'll do anything, much like Kamba's doing here. And then they landed upon, hey, okay, steep price in the future, your kid's gonna die. But then where does the terrorism come into it? I don't know, that's the question, I guess. The other thing we mentioned here is the ash of the goddess's tree or whatever. So a couple of things. One, goddess. I think goddess is just Sanetoshi, and in a very Ikuhara-esque, Utena-esque way, we're playing fast and loose with gender, which is cool. I like that. The next one would be, I think this is the ash in question. It looks like a bullet. It looks like a bomb. It looks like something of that kind of account, and would again be something that would help grow a tree. Again, an apple has seeds inside it, and that perpetuates the loop, right? So again, metaphorically, I think I'm seeing this is the ash that was stolen, or whatever the hell we say later on. You'll say. And again, that's packed full of metaphors. We mustn't neglect the fact that we already have a character called Ringo in the show as well, so that could have its connection there too. The other one I was thinking about is I think that symbol that's associated with Natsume a lot, it's this sapling growing out of the ground, so that kind of attaches itself to this kind of tree motif stuff as well. Yeah, again, a lot to uncover here. If you guys have spoiler-free thoughts on the matter, I would be willing and able to hear them. In this episode, we do the whole thing about the stuffed cabbage and the importance there as well. So again, Kamba coming home here after the opening to find this steamed cabbage for himself. Stuffed cabbage, I'm going to eat him up. It's my favorite dish. I've associated that with good memories with Himari in the past, adding to the kind of severity of the reaction when he learns that Himari's back in hospital. I guess he doesn't learn that she's back in hospital here, but learns that she's going to die tonight. Again, fair enough. Do we want to talk about the fact that as Kamba is smelling the curry, steamed cabbage, stuffed little parcel things, his kind of penguin alter ego is looking at porn from South Asia broadly, I guess I would say. Yeah, interesting one. Again, associating his sister with that. Sure. Again, it's Kamba's prerogative, I guess. I guess I want to see some mom stuff, right? Because we have these photos here. Like, they take him to the aquarium. Again, you've got that association with penguins and Antarctica in general, to the point where this would be a kind of cool location for you guys. But again, your actions in the past have indirectly led to your kids' future now. In that way, their fate was decided. I don't know, lots of stuff there. But I want to see, that's all Kenzan stuff. What does Mum think about any of this? Did she just kind of go with the flow? Now, I didn't know in the moment, but this is pretty clearly Sanetoshi saying that Himari is going to die tonight. Again, obviously going to send Kamba into a bit of a spin. Again, probably pretty clear when he says, I'm from the destination of fate. I think that's also what Himari says at the end of the episode, that she's off to the destination of fate. Okay? Is the destination of fate death? Are we all kind of ultimately living is just in service of dying eventually? What is the point of any of it? Yeah, okay, we're kind of getting at something there. Also, again, I continually shoutouts to these backgrounds. They're kind of fucked up how good they are. And yeah, nice scene transition too, as Kamba kind of looks over to the pedestal there, sees that the penguin headdress is gone, and then starts to get very worried. We now dive into the, I guess, backstory portion of the episode. Let's just introduce the pretty obvious stuff pretty quickly. We kind of already gone through this. Ringo, Shoma, and Kamba all born on the same day. That day was March 20th. That day was also the same day that they did a terrorism, and a lot of people died, including Momoko. Again, Shoma is a very passive person here. He, again, blames himself for the death of her sister, even again when there's kind of two levels between that. One, it wasn't you, it was your parents. And, like, also, like, why would you be... It wasn't specifically, they didn't go out to kill Momoko. They went out to kill people, right? I think that was the idea. So again, you're not directly responsible for her death. That is an insane thing to say. So now we go into our first of 19 flashbacks across these 2 episodes. We have that day, that being the 20th of March 1995, the room where it all started, incident and its turbulence. A boy was born in Takakura family, and he commenced the operation. It was their survival strategy. So again, Dad is committing a survival strategy here. He's initiating his own survival strategy. By the end of the episode here, Kanbe is also initiating his own survival strategy, again, only strengthening that connection between the 2 characters that I keep seeing. Now, this is interesting. I see, she had the baby. A boy. What about my wife? Both mother and child are well. I'm so glad. Okay, what the fuck are we talking about here? Okay, what the fuck? So she had the baby. It was a boy. Today is March 20th, right? Okay, you're following me? What about my wife? What about Chiemi or whatever her name was, right? Mother and child are healthy. And then he's like, oh, I'm so glad. They're not siblings. They're not okay, I think we're implying here that both Shoma and Kamba are born this day, but they're not born to the same mother. Also, where is he? He's working for, like, Amazon. He's also working, you know, in the end of Indiana Jones where they keep the fucking artifacts? He's also working there in just fucking crazy warehouse. And he says, when I finish work, I'll head over to the hospital. Now, work today also involves a terrorism, but... what are all the boxes then? So then Kenzan's like, oh, it's a boy, and then he goes to call someone else. We hear a phone ringing. That phone continues to ring until he looks at his little fucking... what do you call these things? You would page somebody, right? On a pocket bell? Where again, it's going to say, let's initiate the survival strategy or something to that effect. Or the survival tactic, excuse me, I'm sorry. So he called the people, and then the people are like, okay, let's do this thing. And I believe that this is just the different locations of different lines that were affected by the attacks, right? So these guys are here, they get the message on their little thing there to survival tactic or whatever. We see another one here over by Parliament, which I believe in my research about the sarin attacks in real life, all the lines kind of were around Parliament a little bit, which again talks to the political motivation of the killings as well a little bit. And then here, his car pulls up, and then Kenzan comes out, right? So he is directly involved. He is one perpetuating the attacks. I thought maybe he just called it in. No. But look at the editing here, right? So you nod over here, and then reverse shot, you nod over here. Okay. Either he has a twin, which I don't think is the truth. Maybe he has a twin, I don't know. There's a thing about twins in the show generally, but I think what we're trying to say there is that our motivations are one and the same. It doesn't matter who it was all collectively Kenzan doing the attack. Much like a cult, there is a figurehead at the top, and Kenzan is probably close to it. Specifically here saying now the world will be put at peace upon committing the attacks. In a weird twist of fate, see what I did there? Tabuki's alarm went off late on that same day. If his alarm went off at the right time, he would have been on that same train car as Momika and passed away. From here, we get the attacks on that day from his perspective, and just from the kind of general tone of the scene, the editing, the backgrounds, the lighting, something just seems off that day. Even a Monogatari-esque traffic light there if you wanted to squint at it. Again, kind of this larger conversation about something dictating when you stop and go, and we talked about it a lot in Monogatari. We don't need to go back there. In general, I think this scene feels like a childlike memory. Everyone's so much bigger than you, and you don't really know what's going on. The kind of harsh light and the hazy day and the long shadows really give it a like disaster-esque touch to it. It feels very much like that. And again, the kind of echoey, distorted audio here as well, much like a memory. You can't really recall what everybody's saying, just kind of segments and fragments and that kind of thing. But again, it feels like something big is going on. It feels like something out of Tabuki's control is affecting his life. Again, Tabuki only getting small segments of the conversations, looking up, seeing the helicopters overhead, time almost slowing down here at this point, sirens going off, the world falling apart right in front of him. His heart dropping upon figuring where Momika is and that she might be affected. Again, Momika was my entire world, or whatever he said back in the day during that episode. And again, this was one of my queries. I don't think it's a chemical attack. I think it's a bomb attack, because then we look to the sky and there's multiple other locations in the city where explosions have occurred. Where again, the one in real life, sarin is a it's a chemical weapon. It's not an explosion weapon. The next flashback we have is Tabuki sometime later during Momoka's funeral. I refuse to believe she's dead because she... Again, she's very important. We've gone into it. She changed my worldview, something, Schrodinger's cat. It was all very confusing. Now, this shot here specifically, when we come down, this reminds me very much of that very famous church scene from Utena. Kind of that church upon the death of her parents. Spoilers, I guess, for the first episode. And kind of her hiding in that coffin. Dude, Utena's so good. Think about how that connects to the last episode, too. She's opening her own coffin. Whoa. Anyway. Sorry. I might put, like, Utena spoilers, like, on screen or something, because, like... But it's so good. Watch Utena. It's so good. Either way, that kind of crucifix splitting the frame there, the kind of stained glass in the background, and this kind of memorial for Momoka. I love the diagonal light in this frame as well. Obviously, Tabuki being left in the dark over here, being largely pretty devastated, whilst, again, you guys over here, the parents of Ringo, having some kind of hope, at least, with them, with the birth of their daughter. Kind of, oh, fucking shit, our daughter died, our 8-year-old daughter died. At least we have this other baby. There's some semblance of hope there, I think. Again, buoyed with the presence of this book here as well, that being the diary. Again, very interesting that this diary is present now, even in the immediate wake of Momoka's death. So, where did it come from? What kind of delivery mechanism brought it here? Was it one of those fucking boxes, right? Similar to the box that the fucking penguin eggs came in. Again, obviously the parents very upset here, but Ringo doesn't really care. Again, she's very young at the moment. Sparkles, again, a little bit more hope over here with the kid and the diary, right? There wasn't a trace of her, we only found her diary. Whoa, okay, so this was like on the fucking train? That's kind of crazy. Giving some more weight to this whole Momoka, Ringo, little sister type thing. Apparently Momoka was very excited to have a little sister and never got to experience that. Again, you feel almost like a brotherly role in that regard to humor Ringo because of this, right? She never got a chance to do that herself. So you could squint and say that this is almost a little bit of an incest thing as well with the whole Ringo's interest in Tabuki thing. Now, what the fuck are the fingers? What are the fingers? Explain the fingers. There's a few things that are just unexplainable at the moment. Mario, the child broiler, and what the fuck are going on with Tabuki's fingers. Anyway, odd. I don't even know. I refuse to believe that you died in such an incident at that same time playing the visual of a bird stuck in a cage, looking off wistfully, not flying free. Again, we've associated birds and flying freely with Momoka and Tabuki on the bikes back in the day during their little flashback. So does it feel like Tabuki is a solitary bird trapped in a cage because of the lack of Momoka now? Nobody to let him out of his certain cage? Again, he described it like riding a bike, right? It was like something that after you've learnt it, you can't unlearn it. After you see the world this way, you can't go back to the way you were before. And he feels like he's trapped because he can't access the world that Momoka had access to in the past. Even metaphorically. Does that make any sense? Like, I feel trapped instead of flying through the air because of the lack of Momoka and what she was showing me. It's a very interesting way we're framing the flashback as well, because it seems to just throw some Tabuki stuff in there without Tabuki actually being present. But then it's still like, hey, we were telling the story. Because you're like, oh, the story's boring. You were boring me with your backstory stuff. But it's like, wouldn't Tabuki be present to tell his side of it, or... How is this being shown to the audience? What is the justification there? Where the first flashback had a little bit more of a meaning to it. I don't know, just a weird editing detail, I guess. Either way, this is boring Himari in this form, and she's like, okay, well, have you figured out the lesson yet? Have you accepted the fact that the wheel of fate binds you? That there's no escaping fate, and no matter what, unless you access the Penguindrum, for whatever reason, fate's just going to happen all the same. Therefore, this is where Himari starts to pass away again, right? So this Himari then calls them dense for not understanding what she's talking about, and then says, listen, cursed children of fate. Fair enough, our parents cursed us to our current position, right? We can't escape that level of ourselves. Moving on here. You have lost the Penguindrum. I don't think we ever had the Penguindrum. Is the Penguindrum the diary? Because... we had it at a time, and now it's still in two halves. Is that the Penguindrum? Is the Penguindrum the diary? Or is it the drum that had the penguin on it from the flashback? I don't know, man. The world has called forth dark bunnies once again. Well, we see two burnt bunnies, or whatever we call them, later on. So sure. That's right, the fated day is approaching, points behind her. The two look behind them. No, she points that way. They look behind themselves, and then she fucking dies. So what do the dark bunnies have to do with it? Are they like the angels of death or something? Or what the fuck are we talking about? Either way, from here, Himari's fucking dying again. If you wish to save Himari's life, you must obtain the Penguindrum. So again, it constantly seems like Himari is being possessed. I don't think she's being possessed by Sanetoshi, but then we're also referencing this goddess type person. So again, you must pay a steep price. So is the goddess actually the person that's behind this side of Himari the entire time and not just Sanetoshi? Maybe. Yeah, one of the last things that you say is to stop him. Yeah, you want to stop Sanetoshi? Yeah, okay, weird. But getting the Penguindrum will do that? But Sanetoshi is also working with... Okay. Okay. I think there's two gods. I think there's a goddess who is inhabiting Himari and helping us in that regard. And there's also Sanetoshi, who is made this deal with Kanba and is working with Natsume, I think. Because again, that line "stop him" would imply that there's some rivalry here or something. Also then cut to Sanetoshi, who is on a train with his two little dark bunnies or whatever the hell, carrying the cases of the apples with the fucking medicine in them, and the sign comes up for the subway, and it says that he's on the train line of the destination of fate. Which is like, what are we talking about? Yeah, Unme no itaru basho. Sure. That happened before I was born. Okay. Because is that the shadow? Is that the fucking Double H speaking? Like, because it would happen before they were born, because they would have been born in like 98 or something. Anyway, appreciate for a moment that we're out of a flashback before jumping back in. Kanba thinking back to Himari and the special connection that they had based on the little cabbage puffs or whatever. So one, Himari's being weird because she's like playing with the cabbage and thinking that one person is stripping the cabbage of its clothes. It's like a lord and a servant or something. It's odd. Stripping the cabbage down to its privates, to which Kanba is watching. I think he wants to strip his sister down to her privates, which he does by the end of the episode. What? She's a cabbage? I don't understand. As I went into with the episode, the stuffed cabbage itself is a symbol of reconciliation. Himari wants Kanba and Shoma to reconcile after what little argument they had back in the day. Again, Himari wanting peace within the family, blah, 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 blah. You apply that in episode 10 or 11 or whatever it was to Shoma wanting to make good with Ringo. There's also some, it's all very romantic between the two, which again, we've been through it. Some hand touching and whatever else. And then you want to continue the role play whereby you're the lord and you're the lady, which is odd too. And again, we accuse Himari of just making this dish and making so many of them because she wants to go on with her stupid little charade that she's doing. Again, fair enough. The penguins down there following suit as well, with Himari being the aggressor for once. Oh my god. From here on, we have Shoma narrating the story of Mary Had a Little Lamb, but altered to be basically about his parents, I think. It's essentially a cautionary tale about these kind of taboo deals in kind of fiction and that kind of thing, and this being the just desserts of it. Again, Himari being the collateral. The goddess choosing to kill Himari basically on a whim. Again, to punish the kind of things that Kenzan did, I think. So Mary had 3 little lambs. The little lamb's wool shone like angels' wings. There's a religious element to this, a deity beyond ours, potentially. And the 3 little lambs are Shoma, Kanba, and Himari. Those 3 little lambs following Mary. Mary over here is clearly Kenzan, the father, right? I have to shout out the art in general, this kind of really colorful, almost kind of like ink blotty style here, like we're dropping liquid paint and seeing it kind of disperse. I think that's really cool. Along with generally the kind of childlike art conceit of it, right? It's very much in line with the 3 little lambs kind of character conceit of it, right? The nursery rhyme conceit, all that kind of stuff. It would be a mistake for me not to mention that they're walking on something that looks like a cabbage at the moment as well, so that's a fun little twist as well. So Mary couldn't wait to spin their wool into something awesome. couldn't wait to be their father, right? Couldn't wait to mold them into whoever the people they were going to be, right? But then disaster struck, we walked outside and we saw that the tree had withered away. This tree in particular was a special tree. It was the first tree and the tree that bore golden fruit each year. What the fuck is the tree? This was Mary's other dear treasure. We also see here, these characters have had color scheme broadly, and we see along the floor there kind of this color scheme, and one of the lines stop. Right here, right? So look at that yellow line, just stops eventually, right? Goes in a different direction. Almost like a train line in of itself, too. Mary ran to the apple tree and broke down in tears. So what's weird, right, is that Mary, who is Kenzan, is also being related to Kanba in this scene, because Kanba is also running towards his proverbial apple tree and breaking down in tears. In Kanba's version of the parable, his tree is Himari. And Himari is being revived by him making a weird deal with the devil in episode 13, right? And committing a taboo that way. Specifically here, the lambs tried to console the father, but then the father was almost inconsolable, and then a voice came down to him from the sky. Don't give up, the world has not ended yet. Those voices are very clearly the two rabbits, right? Which are the two characters that kind of flank Sanetoshi here in a moment. It seems that Kenzan made a deal with Sanetoshi back in the day for reasons. So the reason I'm bringing up the fact that the kids consoled dad, that means in the timeline, this can't have had to do with the terrorism, because the kids were born that day, so the kids wouldn't have consoled him. So something happened after the fact, and it wasn't Mum, because Mum was still alive. We saw that on the news report way later on when they got arrested. So what was it? It must be whatever he's working with Pingu Corp or whatever. Whatever happened, it died, and then he was really bummed about it. Sure. The black bunnies that Kenzan found then said to go to the shrine of the goddess deep in the forest. Go and collect the ashes from the flaming torch. This tree will recover the instant you sprinkle the ashes over it. So, okay, in Kanba's version, he is grabbing his own heart. He is giving up a steep price. That is the ashes that he is going to get, right? In Kenzan's story, he's gone and grabbed something from the goddess that's going to make everything better. It's going to make whatever his problem was, his devastating problem, back to being good again. Now, what I'm seeing here is that our version of this is the Penguindrum. You want us to get the Penguindrum by inhabiting Himari because it's the goddesses in the first place. And Sanetoshi wants it because it's kind of the price that needs to be paid for these wishes that he keeps granting or something. It's something like that. I don't know if I'm putting it together correctly, but there's a rivalry between Sanetoshi and the goddess. It would be remiss of me not to mention the other connection here, obviously, which is the apple tree. The apple tree connects to Garden of Eden-esque myth. The tree in question was the start of the rest of the world, right? So, again, the start of humanity, referencing Garden of Eden, but also referencing a temptation, right? The tree also represents forbidden fruit of sorts that you shouldn't want, but you continue to want anyway. Again, associating the reviving of said tree with a taboo in whatever we're doing here as well, right? And again, initially declines, thinking it to be a taboo, but continues to be pushed on by these black rabbits, maybe much like a snake in our little metaphor there as well, the one that convinces Mary in this question to be the one to take part in the fruit. And again, we're just operating on a metaphor, basically, and I'm not sure what we're like, what is the tree, what is the ash? That's what I want to know, right? So this is a reveal as well. Essentially, back in episode 1, when Shorma got kicked out, and then Kanba was the only one left in the sequence, he gave up part of his own life in his heart to her to continue to fuel Himari, right? But this apparently ran out of juice, and it was a one-time thing. He can't continue to give over more of his life to perpetuate her life, right? That's just not how it works anymore. It's not going to be as effective, all that kind of stuff. So again, this is very interesting change of perspective. Again, we get very much like Shawma's perspective on that first episode of seeing the miracle and that kind of thing without seeing the machinations behind it. Again, him being left in the dark on these sort of things and Kamba attacking them by himself is very much in character for him. But again, this isn't a conversation between Himari and Kamba, it's a conversation between the goddess and Kamba. So the goddess wanted this kind of life juice as well. I think the voice here being very different as well. I'm unsure if it's the same voice actress or if there's another voice actress for the goddess. Doesn't sound like Himari to me in this conversation at this time, where some of the other voice when she's doing survival strategy and all that sounds like Himari. So again, as I said, here's his life force. You can grab it and try to use it, but again, it's not going to be as effective again. All this is meant to show is that Kamba is still fully on board to the point where he's willing to give up his life for Himari. Now, what is the scorpion soul burning bright red? Are we talking like astrology? Because, like, that's the 8th sign of the zodiac, people born between... But that's not the time he was born. He's not a Scorpio. Shut up. Symbol of strength and power. Okay, that's very much grit and determination and the stuff that Kamba's associated with. I don't really know what else you'd be getting at with a piece of scorpion symbolism, right? Somebody has like a stinger, I guess? It's a star sign, something with stars and fate, as we've talked about. I don't know, it's weird. Either way, the two here get naked and embrace. Look at the eyes, it's not him having sex with Himari, it's him having sex with the goddess. It's a bit different. They're using Himari's body, though. Don't know about that. But again, the survival strategy stuff here, there's no more subtext to it, it's just text. They're like getting naked and embracing and stuff. Specifically here playing the next part of the Mary story as well, it's just as the Black Bunny said, when we got that kind of stuff, again, associating this with Kamba's like heart stuff later on as well, in this scene, right, we're associating, like giving your like life energy over to the goddess for something to occur, and then that made the tree better? Sure. Also very Prometheus here because we're stealing fire, right? Stole fire from the gods and it burned everything to the ground and whatever. But again, it's so multi-layered because then we're talking about taboos and he's having sex with his sibling at the same time, the taboo of incest at that same point. So in order to commit a taboo, you have to do a taboo and then you get punished for the taboo and then... My brain is melting. What are we even fucking doing? This is what I made. This was kind of like my intro to the episode, right? I just need something more to grasp onto right here, right now in the narrative for me to for this to hit at all emotionally, right? Again, I'm imagining on a rewatch, you guys are like, whoa, because you know what everything's about, but I don't. And I'd like to think I'm paying attention pretty well. And again, finishing out our little Mary story, Goddess found out about the taboo, chose to punish Mary, but the goddess's punishment was ultimately on a whim, chose, hey, the littlest lamb, that one has to fucking die. So again, Kenzan made choices that Kenzan made. That's all well and good. Things occurred, the tree's back, whatever that's worth, but in return, we took your youngest child, essentially. She's going to die of blank. And again, here's where the theme comes into it of fate. That's not a decision neither Shawma nor Kamba made, but it's their bed that's been made for them, and they have to sit in it. And again, much like his father, the one fighting against that is Kamba, even here at this point, to the point where that same parable can be applied to him, even right now. You know what I mean? He's so very much like his father, even though he laments his father for the decisions that were made that resulted in Himari's death. And again, as I keep highlighting the difference between the brothers, Kamba in here holding her hand, devastated at it, offering his life force right up until the very end, making this deal with Sanetoshi here in a second, who's on the outside of the room the entire time, just kind of watching and accepting. Shawma. It's just the kind of person he is. Pretty obvious when I mentioned in the moment as well, as that kind of heartbeat hits that kind of rock bottom, this kind of Himari penguin fading out as well, flanked by either of the brothers too, right? And yeah, we get our first look at the actual goddess here. The punishment has to be most unjust. Does that voice sound like the voice that was with that scene with Himari there before? Punishment has to be most unjust. So again, just as a recap, Kamba is communicating with the goddess through the body of his sister, who is also the one that's going to die at the hands of the goddess. But it's based on two separate deals. And then something about Penguindrum is going to make everything okay? I don't get it. I'm so confused. Oh, I think I just got to get a wriggle on. I can't figure it out right here, right now, for whatever reason. Sure. Either way, episode ends when Sanetoshi walks in and basically offers, hey, there's gonna be a steep price, but I can help you with Himari here and again. Again, it's implied that in the past, Kenzan had a meeting with Sanetoshi and made a similar kind of deal to the deal that Kamba's taking right here, right now. Thank you, the wheel that binds us. You confused the fuck out of me. Alright, next episode. I hate feeling like I'm dumb, and this show makes me feel like I'm dumb. I guess that's the strongest criticism. I don't know, man. I'd like to think I'm pretty smart. I'd like to think that, but I have nothing to grasp onto of like confirmations of anything, right? Which makes it all feel just so airy-fairy. I could just be completely off base here. Starting episode 13, we have Shauma's monologue from episode 1 repeated. The only thing we ever knew was that we would never amount to anything. Gods choosing specifically unjust fates, cruel fates for people. Again, Shauma believes this wholeheartedly, that this is just the cards he's been dealt, and even though it's wholly unfair, we're never going to amount to anything anyway, so what's even the point? Again, very passive. So Sanetoshi's weird. He's not a doctor, but quickly makes up an excuse that he is with some potentially life-saving medicine. I think he just appears much like a devilish figure in front of people to offer them these kind of deals to get something out of it. I think that's his MO. He also hangs out in the Library of Fate and feels like he's found somebody very similar to him in Momoko, and also saw Himari there back in the day as well, and was kind of weird about it, and gave her a book. Again, almost like a deal with the devil in of itself as well, where it's like, hey, here's this. Do what you will with it. I don't know. From here, he offers Kamba juice. Juice is going to make Himari better. The price for juice is steep. That's all we know, really. He also says, let's initiate the survival strategy in the same way the goddess says that. Let's initiate the survival strategy, right? Is there some kind of connection there? Probably. Sanetoshi here laments the helplessness of Kamba, but says he's got something for it. He says he might call it a prince's kiss that awakens the sleeping beauty. Now again, this is very Utana coded, of course, the references to fairy tales and you being generally creepy about it. That just tracks. The symbol of the prince's kiss in something like Sleeping Beauty is a representation of like rewardification of women and gratification and all that kind of stuff upon completing your quest. Hey, you're a lonely, lowborn little freak, Kamba. You can never hope to be a prince by yourself. You can never hope to have the gratification of being a prince. Therefore, hey, here's Prince in a bottle. You can be a prince for a day at a steep price. Again, it wasn't in your stars to be a prince. It wasn't in your stars to be the hero. But we can change that here and now. As we follow these colors on the ground yet again, making their turns off the path at certain points, again, train lines, we've been through it. I think that's all very smart visually. Shauma is talking about how Himari's death must be punishment for the acts of the father. Considering what my parents have done, there's nothing that we can do to atone for their crimes other than sacrifice Himari. And again, acceptance. Contrast that with Kamba in the other room. I'll keep going on about it. Ringo brings up the right thing here. Why should you be punished for the crimes of your parents? You didn't do it. Why are you being punished so unjustly for that? Well, maybe not yet. I don't even know if she does bring it up. She should bring it up, though, because it's true. Either way, we get a flashback here. I'm not even sure I should go through this one in that much detail. It's kind of fucking stupid. They're just waiting for the parents to come through. Mum's made miso early in the day. We're giving it a little bit of a slurp, which is good. Waiting for the parents to come home. We don't really know what's going on. And then the police show up at the door. We have 3 apples here, symbolic of the kids too, just being left all alone. Where again, there's like scary music playing when the police show up and start accusing them of stuff and telling them to pack their bags, and then the uncle calls. There's a lot of tension to it. They're being caught off guard during a meal. They don't know what's going on. They're literally finding out that their parents are terrorists. I don't really think there's all that much to say here. It's just kind of really shocking and kind of raw in a cool way. Really puts you in the shoes of Shauma. These two almost seem like child predators or something as well. They've got this real menacing tone to them. Again, very in matching with children learning information at the time when they don't know what's going on, right? It feels all very weird and strange and alien, right? Again, uncle's on the phone, tells them to pack their bags. You got to leave the house for a couple of days. We'll put you up in a hotel room or whatever. I'll be there as soon as I can. He's going to assist with the police. Mum and Dad are terrorists. Oh my god. It was a day just like any other. We went to school, the parents went to work, but they never came back. I doubt that they've ever seen their parents again. Shauma says he's been waking up to a different world since that point. Yeah, sucks. The whole world was flipped upside down by some terrorism. And then, yeah, we're back with Sanetoshi offering it the gift. Comes at a steep price. We reference money here, but I don't think it's going to be money, dog. Again, he's already got his money problems with the rest of the show, that being Kanba. Like, he's already taken shady money, so... Again, what's to stop him from doing that again? It's probably not just money. Sanetoshi pointing to the chest of Kanba as well. You're going to use that as collateral as well. I get your, like, life essence, your life in general, if you can't get me what I need. So again, you get Himari alive for now. But if you can't keep repaying the loan, we take Himari and we take you as well. We get to take you all to the child broiler or something, I don't know. Fun detail here, of course, as well that I noted is the heart rate going into negatives. I think that's just cool. Negative beats per minute. This is almost like that debt racking up in real time, given a kind of tangible form. Apparently he wants the hideous charred heart of the scorpion, charred like it's already been burnt as well, with its stark white ashes. So, okay, when we're grabbing ashes from the goddess's flame, are we grabbing at her life force or something? At her heart? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's all very fucking weird. The use of ashes here is specific, though. And again, these two rabbit freaks go on again, much like Ken-san back in the day, saying that Sanetoshi has done a great job of getting another deal done. Time to administer the medicine. Sounds like we've got another hook, line, and sinker little fool. Yeah, in grand contrast to the rest of the episode, the scenes where it's just like the flashback with them learning about the terrorism are frankly way more normal. Like, again, the kids have just been put up in a hotel while they investigate the house. They don't know any of the details right now, but they eventually flick on the TV and see their house being investigated by the police. This will flip their life upside down right now. We also saw in that little text of the flashback that this was the last day they experienced love. It was the day that love left the world for them. Himari here at this time is obviously still pretty young, thinking that she's still in Triple H and it's going to be a big hit and all that kind of stuff. But then again, her world gets turned upside down in a moment. She's forced to leave school, she's ostracized by all her friends, and she leaves Triple H, she becomes Double H, it becomes a huge hit. That's part of Himari's motivation, is kind of this missing her big break type energy and being an idol and all that kind of stuff. Like, she feels deeply... Like, she's dying, obviously, which is also bad, but she also feels scorned by the decisions made by the parents. It's ruined her life, essentially. Again, it's weird. So much of the parents' actions, and the brothers by extension, has been about protecting Himari. But when it comes to this, whatever this tree is, whatever else it is for anybody else, right? Himari becomes collateral. Does that make any sense? If Himari's the most precious thing in the world until she's not, what's more precious than that? Like, that's my question. A lot of TV reporter kind of stuff this episode, because then we have the weird Natsume thing about the 10-year anniversary or whatever, since the new train line got put in or whatever the hell. Yeah, because, again, the kids turn on the TV, see that their home is being investigated. Again, the parents that reside within the home are conspirators, senior conspirators to the attacks that happened on the train line. Specifically, this is a bit of a gut punch, zooming in on all their names as well, the residents and the people that reside within it. We've seen this sign previously with the parents' names scratched out, so again, kind of cool. I do like the idea of the uncle calling from their own house to this hotel room. I think there's a real sense of invasion of privacy to it, along with, again, the investigation of all these different documents that are now spread across the ground, linking them to the conspiracy and all that kind of stuff. What do we note? A lot of penguins. A lot of penguins. A lot of penguins. So here's my question. Terrorism occurs. They did a terrorism. Ken-san, major terrorist guy, has Penguin on his back. He works for Penguin Company. Penguin on all his documents. Why is Pengu Corp still a thing? Like, does that make any sense? Why is the Penguin organization still around if one of their major workers was a terrorist? I guess you wouldn't shut it down, but I don't know. Imagine if a terrorist worked for Amazon. You wouldn't shut down Amazon, right? But questions would be asked, I think. I don't know. Weird one. Especially, again, I have all the extra knowledge of the penguins following the kids around and the aquarium being important and the trip to Antarctica and all that kind of stuff. But again, the invasion of privacy aspect, like interrupting their dinner. Dinner is meant to be family time. Now there's just a bunch of investigators standing around. Yeah. Very, very cool. Back in real life, we administer the medicine. Himari starts waking up. That's all well and good. Even the bunnies fucking love it, which is cool. Shauma here says, surprisingly, the goddess changed her mind about the death penalty for the youngest lamb. However, the goddess did not revoke the punishment out of pity for the lambs, but only for a bigger haul later on. Again, you've got ulterior motives, but you're not the goddess. Unless you're the god. Is the goddess... Okay, what? What is happening? Who's the goddess? Who's Sanetoshi? Are they fighting? Help. Send serious help. Again, it would be no fun if the punishment ended here, says the goddess. And then the bunnies are like, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. Either way, Sanetoshi goes back home. But as he's going back home, he also recalls the time that Momoko was there, I think. Who seems to be little girl with pink hair. Fair enough. Seems cool. So who's also a girl with pink hair? Whoa, think about this. Okay, so we go from... Where's our goddess? Do you have pink hair, goddess? We saw you in the last episode. No, I was tweaking. This goddess has, like, other hair. Okay, you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like, Momoko? Momoko. No. No, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure this is Momoko. So here's my clue that it's Momoko. He says that it was 16 years ago. 16 years ago would have been the time that Momoko died. We've seen with Himari that when you're dying, you go to this place. Sometimes. It also seems like Sanetoshi in this scene is posing the question to the audience in a fourth wall break. Almost judging us of what we think about fate and the concept there within and so forth. What do we think about the themes of the show as presented currently? There was this girl that appeared out of the blue. She was just like me. We had the same eyes. At first sight, I realized I wasn't a solitary existence in this world. Up until I met her, I was all alone in the world. I had not a soul with whom to share the scenery before my eyes. Again, the only one that sees like you, again mentioning that they have the same eyes. I could hear everybody though. I could hear everybody all around the world calling out to me to save them. Thus, I could see the optimal path for the world. But it saddened me, because the moment I saw her, I knew we were never meant to be. So even though she's the same as me, she refused to side with me. Again, this is where I'm getting this goddess rivalry side from, right? She rejected me, the only person who could see the same scenery. This is Sanetoshi's little tragedy, right? He has no companionship. And then again, posing it like the audience, us, would be asking him a question. Oh, what's your next question, sorry? Oh, why I saved Himari? Well, let me tell you. Again, he's going to keep kind of his lips sealed on that one. Why did I still save her? Well, again, he wants to save people. He sees the optimal path. Himari also wants to save Tokyo with the book or something. So Himari must be alive for my plan to work? What is happening? If you want to see a video that goes for way too long about a guy that's way too confused, dog, I have the video for you and you're watching it. So I hope you're entertained. I really do. But then he like flips it. He says, you two look for the Penguindrum now, and kind of looks off to the side instead of into the camera. What do you say? Not a bad deal, right? Super Frog saves the Penguindrum, being the top book there, wearing the kind of penguin headdress that Himari's been wearing. Again, you guys are going to want to accomplish this in the saving of the thing. I also believe this was mentioned before, but Haruki Murakami, who is the writer of Super Frog Saves Tokyo, also wrote a story or a novel about the Tokyo sarin attacks or something. Which again, I think we talked about, it focuses more on the people at play rather than the events of the cult and that kind of thing, the impact on the people. Which again seems like a large inspiration for Penguindrum, which sees the kind of ripples out of this one disaster to the close people of it, right? Those affected from the act of terrorism and those affected from the kind of side of the terrorists. No, it seems... Sanetoshi is talking to the headdress and then it goes, oh yeah, return to her side. Eventually you'll see what I say. And that's at the same time that the child disappears. So I was looking for child over here, looking through the bookcase and all that kind of stuff, right? But then, like, she's gone. She's disappeared already, right? She was there and then she's gone. Did she become the headdress? Thoughts? Let us observe what will become of the siblings. Farewell, my love, and then the headdress itself falls down. Oh, and this is almost making that same symbol that the eels make on the diary, right? Odd. My love, the only one that can see the same scenery as me... Like the child, right? who I think is Momoko. See you again in that world. Okay, that's a huge revelation. I'm pretty sure that the goddess and the headdress and Momoko are all one and the same. Maybe not the goddess. The goddess doesn't make much sense considering the whole Kenzan thing. Steal the goddess's fire or ash or whatever from the torch. That doesn't make much sense. But definitely the headdress and Momoko. That's a definite connection. You know what's one thing I just thought of as well? I saw Thingo's penguin. Kamba's penguin is like using bug spray on bugs. Isn't that kind of like... It's kind of like a chemical weapon attack. Kinda. On a bug. And relating bugs to humans and then humans to gods. I don't know. Either way, from here on in, the boys are going to do what they can for Himari. Ringo leaves that scene, and then she's like, I don't know, I'm off to go talk with Tabuki for a bit and kind of reconcile my side of the equation. From here, we learn about Tokyo Sky Metro. We get this kind of TV interview structure, and we kind of meet with Natsume briefly. But it's also got Double H in it as well, considering they've been closely associated with Tokyo Sky Metro since its inception. Or at least since they became idols, I guess. It's hard to say. What this reads as is... very, again, my frame of reference would be 9/11, right? We must never let such a thing happen ever again. Blah, 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 looking back on it, remembering, but also embracing that we've grown from it and all these other kind of things, right? It feels like a lot of those kind of specials. I just like to imagine Double H telling their side of the story one time, like, oh yeah, we used to be a 3-member group, but one of the members was, like, their parents were a terrorist. So we couldn't have him in the group anymore. I don't know, just a little bit funny. The motto of the episode is Rome wasn't built in a day or something to that effect as well. Odd. I don't know, Natsume calls in and says some chuny cringe shit about light and dark or something. After this episode's here today, I refuse to understand Natsume, or at least try to. You're just odd. You seem to know context though. You were seemingly jeering Kamba about his situation. At that same point, receiving kind of a phone call from Sanetoshi, it seems that Mario was in a very similar position to Himari, to the point where they're hooked up to a fucking heart rate machine as well, and they're seemingly doing fine after doing worse before. Mario is doing fine, I should express my gratitude. This would further link Kamba and Natsume, as they've both taken these proverbial deals from the devil to make their person better again. She's paid a sufficient price, apparently. Natsume wants to crush it, and we're going to tell her where the other half of the diary even is. I wonder who has the other half. I cannot even begin to speculate. The only indicator that I have continuously is that it's a girl. It's a woman. And again, ending out the episode here today, we have this conversation between Tabuki and Ringo about, what do you think about Takakura now? You knew, right? Isn't that fucking weird? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Tabuki takes it really well, I think. Also interesting, we see a frog-type creature here, flanked by 2 little freaks. It kind of reminds me of Sanetoshi and the Black Rabbits in a weird way. We have 3 black cats up here, 3 ominous creatures, as we're talking about the blah 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 blah, as we're talking about the Takakura siblings. That's who I think the black cats are meant to represent here. Specifically, those 3 children following one black cat, which could be Mary in our little metaphor there from before as well. Also, Tabuki's fingers keeping an eye on it. Also, very much like we talked about before, his kind of bird motif. They're flying on the bike right now, separated for a moment, can't grab back onto each other, but it's like we're flying through the air with this kind of shot as well. Again, associating that with like riding a bike. We've been through all this. Again, most of this stuff just seems like closure for Ringo, for her kind of portion of the story here in this arc, right? I wished I could become my sister, become Momoko. The tears starting to fall. I feel like I've failed as a daughter because I don't resonate with this as much as the rest of you guys. I wanted to make everything better by becoming Momoko and fitting that role for both you and my family. It seems like she's finally admitting her mistakes here and moving on a little bit. There are some things in life that just cannot be restored, but I'm still glad that I met you. What about you? Are you glad that you met me? Yeah, she is. But I wish I never found out the truth about the Takakuras. But Tabuki still finds solace in the fact that all of this is still happening for a reason, almost still believing in fate, almost maybe some of that Momoko juice pouring onto him from that perspective. I don't know, you have some grand faith in the system if you still think that all of this is some kind of grand design. I don't know. There's meaning in anything, no matter how sad it is. Nothing in this world is pointless. Almost this exact opposite take to somebody like Kanba. He sees there as a point to the grand design of everything, almost loving fate the same way that Ringo did, right? Which was one of Momoka's traits from memory, instead of the boys who hate fate, and Kamba specifically fighting against fate. And again, as we've talked about previously with Ringo, having that reconciliation with Tabuki, admitting a few things, moving on a little bit, and also at that same point, so much of that being linked into your little kind of Oedipus complex thing with your dad. Hey, I'm going to come over and accept your new family as well. Everything must happen for a reason. I still love fate. If this is what fate has decided for us, then we must take it with open arms. Let's embrace this new family. And again, just to bring that full circle, ending the episode with that same first Ringo monologue about fate and how she loves fate. There's almost a little bit more of a sad twinge to it. Again, she's less gung-ho about the whole Momoka thing anymore. She's not being a super hyper stalker. She's moved away from that a little bit. She's realized her own presence in all of it. Yeah, don't know where it ends for Ringo, but I don't think it's here. She's very tentative about it still. Here we end the episode for good with the Takakura siblings being unable to accept the fact that their parents are terrorists. Fair enough. And again, Kamba, as always, denying the fact, fighting against fate. Contrast that with the monologue just before about how she loves fate. You can kind of see what we're doing here. We're kind of playing fast and loose with it. Again, ending here, Crime and Punishment for You and Me being that episode title. We end here with a ED comprising visually of kind of Triple H and 3 kind of lines, 3 red strings of fate intertwining with each other, symbolic of the 3 siblings, right? And how the crime and punishment of their parents has affected them. The use of the cover of the song by the band ARP, I believe. That's what we said the last time this insert song played, is that it was another cover from them, so that's cool. And linking that to Triple H, and again, how the parents' crimes rippled down to Himari not eventually being part of this group. I think that's very apt. That's full of meaning now. I should do lyrics though, which I will do. My feelings can't reach you, our bonds being torn apart. The clouds drift away regardlessly on a grey Wednesday. Now remember the spectacular past, when everything was bright, when you fell in love. Now remember the time we loved each other, when we stared into each other's eyes. Now remember the spectacular past, when you lived for a dream, when you loved each other. And that's where we're ending there, with these 2 hands kind of grasping each other, or trying to at this point anyway. And again, involving even more threads by the very end of the ED as well, kind of growing through time, as again, the events that ripple out from this one decision about the kind of disaster and the terrorism and all that kind of stuff impact many different people across the story. I don't have much to say on the lyrics. Seems to be a little bit more of like a love song-y thing that we're kind of twisting the meaning of to be a little bit more tragic with this kind of more acoustic cover. And yeah, I mean, we'll leave it there. I don't know if I made any sense this entire session. To be honest, it's kind of fucked up. I don't know what's going on, man. But that's kind of par for the course. I'll try to keep it in my head for next week, but I can't promise that I will. Again, ending on a broad theory of rivalry between the goddess and Sanetoshi, but they may still be the same person, and it may also be Momoka, and it may also be the headdress. Anyway, I'm pretty sure on the Kenzan stuff, I don't know what the tree is, but I don't think I'm meant to know yet. Sure. And how that connects to Kamba is interesting still. Again, as I keep saying, I'd love more to grasp onto. I really would, but I just don't have it. And I think I'm being a stupid dum-dum for not seeing it right now. Again, I hope the video was entertaining, but I don't know what's going on. I'll see you next week. Like the video, subscribe, Patreon, Discord. I'll catch you later. Goodbye.